growing a garden, it's best to diversify your assets. I'm talking sowing different types of seeds, not just one variety. So when it comes to Thanksgiving, you can give thanks with a cornucopia that's not just corn. But that does not mean sticking your planter in any pot and expecting pork rinds to prosper. Just saying. Now, I'm not saying you need permission to start. And this is the whole topic of today that goes definitely off the rails and tangential, but we're going to rein it back in at the end. Now, I'm not saying you need permission to press play or to start, but damn is it nice when Daddy Universe kind of says, yeah, go for it, you can. Now, in most cases, when it comes to Mr. Universe or your dad, or we'll call him Greg, you either feel like he's watching from the sidelines, hopefully rooting you on. He very much is. Or he left with your lunch money to go get a pack and a glass of milk. Never came back. And it's been too long to remember a face, but you still somehow carry the last name of Universe. And you should bear that on your chest proudly, Steven. Incongruity. And I really do think that we're just one head pat and well done away from setting the world ablaze. Just saying. But I will say, meet me halfway, and that steak will not get its true sear at Sears, the saving store, or whatever their tagline is. So if you truly do want that great grass-fed, served up fresh for your home turf, well, rev up the fryers and start singing for Armageddon. Get it? Fryers. Anyway. But I will say there's something to be said about just allowing it to be just for the fishes. SpongeBob reference. I like these. These are fun. This is a good time. I'm enjoying myself. But hey, remember before the posters are posted and the signs are very much signed off, you and the cow are both beefy and beautiful. You are made to endure. You are strong like a bull. You're still surviving off of grass, and isn't that great? And Lordy knows you've taken more than your fair share of shit. Bullshit. And just of all types. Now, it's April, baby, and we're about to get snow, but that doesn't mean that in August you're not going to be wishing for winter's wonderland. Now imagine this. The August where the sandals are slotted. I hope you know what I mean. That's barbecue dad talk. The guts are filled with gallons of beer and brats. The world isn't ending. At least not entirely. And you're not waiting for your self-starter to start up. Just press start on an intro statement. If you're having some trouble saying yes to the mess, just add some TLC. Let me piece together the painting for you. At least the parts where I'm at. It's puzzling, but I think the solution is just the speed. Try taking it slower. Like, let's flash back to that August. You are going absolutely Super Saiyan in a bounce house. You're breaking the boys' necks, and Becky just broke your heart. I'm so sorry about that, friend. Nothing feels any different, yet everything is about to change. You have no idea how truly high you can reach, and people keep saying, you know, the moon will do if you can't catch a star, but that ball of fire will make you so furious in the end. Better said, not feeling that ball of fire will definitely cause you a little bit of fury. Boy howdy, now can't that cowboy truly cook? But everybody's telling you, man, it's time to get out of the house, and that just kind of makes you feel like you want to face the fire of that grill. But Baby Babe Butter Biscuit, nothing that good for you can be a just add water situation. And I'll let you know, the stagnancy of shelf life will always take half of yours with it. So just keep moving. Hold on, let me get in your face. What's up? But that bread that you could be making, do you see it being worth half of the batter? Or perhaps the flower that got cut off before it's fully bloomed? But oh, sweet baby rays of sunshine, that burger that Greg is cooking will be bliss. You just have to wait. I mean, it even takes a second if you like it rare, but I prefer mine a little bit more medium, so I take it a little bit easier, a little bit slower. No big deal. But I think actually he may be the one who asked for the head pat and the good job in the end. Ain't that right, Greg? I bet that the bliss you will feel when the burger and the taste buds kiss will be beautiful. Till bow will do you fart. But still, before all of that, it's August and you haven't even bought your school supplies yet. And right now it's April. So please, allow this April to pass, even if you can't see foolishly into the August Armageddon future. In the back of my mind, I actually do remember the August and Aprils of past. As much as I may say I am present or future forward, it is the past that has made me present. And a gift, should be said. Something I like to commonly say. And that's just straight up Oogway. Something that I learned from my cartoon-loving past. And something that I bring forward to the present. It's beautiful. But on that topic, which may snake a sour scale, all of this was before I got lost to the proverbial fumes. Or maybe not so proverbial. Back at a time when I couldn't actually find the right words to say, let alone wanting to write. But now they come to and fro. And it's funny, fro is a type of saw. This next line is going to make more sense with it. And now I can say confidently that I can comprehend a coping saw. And cope with the fact that I may never see a cannabis cart again. And I'm happy about that conundrum. Now, in both cases, it did take time to make that happiness into a happenance. And a lot has happened hence. One of the most important lines that this koi fish has found himself hooked upon is finding God both in the soy, like the self, me, and also the sauce, like the universe around. And honestly, this one's just for her, falling in love with the color of the clouds, regardless of their shade, for the current moment. Love you too, boo. Even if others think truly that she is just the love that I wish to give to myself, I would say she's just kind of holding it for me. And it's on this stage with too many coaches on my back, but none really in this moment. It's kind of nice that I would pony up the change to make a cloud for her. So in my heart, I know no matter how many lights are really pointed at me or whatever direction I happen to be going in, I'm glad to be able to look up into whatever storm and find her eye. And in a lot of different ways, I think it's at those moments that I know whole and holy share a place in my heart. And as much as this can be madness caused by a mind that has been severely fragmented, but fixed, at least with duct tape and some CA glue, I would still say it's more of a fortune. Something to unravel with the sweet center. Because it's funny. Even in this storm, I could still find her eye. And even if I'm not in the eye, I can still appreciate the snowflakes falling around. Even if they find their ground for only a moment and happen to flake, I think it's still pretty sweet to call them sugar while we be the salt. Saying stuff like, it's spring. Why is there snow? It makes some sense, though. So I know the world might be ending, and I think that we are truly showing our trump card. But let's use this phrase, for example. It is always darkest before the light, and the inverse is also right. Because think about it. Even in the shitstorm, we're still at the eye. To quote a very butchered comedian, we're on Earth. And for literally millions, if not trillions of miles around, it just fucking sucks. It's pretty fucking cool if you ask me. So I happen to think that as we piece together the moments and they fade into the eternal miasma of memory, that I too am kind of finding myself enjoying the chaos, and whenever the order for order comes in, I'll try not to add too much salt. But there might be a slight rush on that order. So simply said, at this point, the puzzle's kind of piecing together itself in perfect timing, which is amazing to think about and beautiful to be a part of the practice. And the most important thing in this chapter of my life, in this moment, is letting go of the fear of the full picture. Because the bigger fear behind that one is not seeing the full picture as the prize that I once wanted to possess. And I think, if I'm to go off script for a second, isn't that just the beauty of change, that it always is new and fresh? May not be as fresh as you wanted it, or maybe it's a little bit too fresh, but it's always changing, and that's beautiful. I don't really need to paint a bigger picture than the one provided by Greg, because it's all going to come together whether my hand is open or closed. It all stays in the same. And that doesn't mean that my heart has to be an open and shut case. If anything, I wouldn't want it to be. It's not the point. before I continue to cry and Chase Bank comes for me, taking my corneas as collateral, consider this. I'd much rather try to spend the time that I have left turning it into treasure compared to a heavier tombstone. For you see, currency can't really stay current, and it never will. You know, it ebbs and flows with every single changing tide. And in a different way, but more of a way the same, the only change is constant, and the only constant is change. It's a beautiful paradox, and I love it to death. And may we never do part. I think it's the memories that I made that make these metaphors worth more than meta. At least in my metrics. So I hold a candle in a moment for our dear Mort. For one day I will be kissing your feet, you little lemur. It's a quote to death. Now that's a lot of metaphors, but I'm a man made of them. And it's not that the truth will turn more fictitious the more you think about it. It's more just like, it's just how my gray matter meanders, marinates, makes meaning. It's how I make sense of all this gray space. And hopefully I'll turn the channel and I'll see the color of your eyes and not black and white static. And I know these are more mixed messages than sacred stories. But I really hope that you can feel the colors of my heart. So here's to them staying in the flesh. So I think the anecdote of what I'm trying to say today would be the same kind of message that holds meaning to those who've been struggling to start. You see, there was a point in time where I was left to my own devices after I just got shorted $20 from my own brother. I was on a bench in New Haven, Connecticut, of all places. And I found myself so mentally fried that I was smoking a cigarette, and I remember writing something to the effect of, I don't know how I could do critique in art when I can't even spell the word. And that's something I have been quoting for a while. But it wasn't until today that this dawned on me. I still wrote that. I wrote the word critique. That's Greg looking out, baby. And I think the bigger thing is I was allowing my doubt to drown me. I wasn't seeing the surface. I was reaching for the sun, but I really couldn't swim. But it seems at this point, years later, I think it was like 24, years later, I finally got my sea legs. And in a sad twist of fate, it was just my brain was on back order, severe back order from smoking too many backwoods. Go figure. But I'm happy to say I am clean, clear, and under control. And it's through the purple separate from the haze that I can make out that universal irony. And on top of that, I would add a little bit of distance, a little pinch of distance, a little bit of time. So it was a hell of a maze to go through, but still nonetheless an amazing journey to full circle. So let me back it up a little bit. At the time, you think the meme of momentum is super deep fried, but in honest truth, it's just posterization. You can learn that in 20 seconds. In the end, all I really needed was a broom to clean up and a good song to sing to. And it's funny how every single time I wanted lightning in a bottle, God would just kind of pickle it for me. Because the basis behind this was me asking ChatGPT to give me a writing prompt. Actually, let's go even further back. So the basis behind this very well done poetry set, provided by me, was me asking ChatGPT how to be a better writer. Actually, it started with how to write great speeches. And through the process of ChatGPT breaking down how to write great speeches, I realized that I already did half that stuff. And then I asked ChatGPT for some topics to talk about. And in a grand ironic twist, it was, you don't need permission to start. Almost saying you don't need permission from me, you just need to know what you want to talk about. So believe me, pimp, all of that is easier said than done. I've been writing for a good while, and this didn't happen overnight. Even this didn't happen overnight. That's my voice, not me throwing up. It's easier said than done. But I think the better said thing is to just keep trying to go from caterpillar to chrysalis And even if it hurts, even if you get slapped, you can still be sore and sore. And who knows? Those scars will scar you, but they may eventually become sacred to the butterfly. But I'm not saying you should go seek them out. So let's bring it all the way back. I think right here is close enough. So, my fellow space cowboy. That felt good to say. It's been a while. The proof is in the pudding, but the pudding is the ending. Try starting with your breakfast. Try starting with the porridge. And I think the most important lesson to take home with the trowel is bricks over barley when building a house, but barley over bricks when making a stout. No matter how long it takes, put off perfection. Try to focus on play. And for the love of God, can someone please provide me with more paper? Anyway, I've been Jordan D. This has been a very special one of these. I will do a little bit of housekeeping. Follow me on Patreon at Jordan Alexandre. If you want to support, there's free tiers and stuff like that. I just kind of want to grow an audience and get my work out there. But a little bit of housekeeping and we'll mark it up. Hop on the table. You see, this is something that's been something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And the thing is, I never took enough time to actually just sit down and write like a script. And it's funny how I feel as though, even though I haven't touched the editing bay yet, this is going to be one of my better ones, if not my best so far. And I think it's because I took time to marinate and really think about the thoughts that I had and not just trying to put down the train tracks as the train is going on them. I knew the direction where I was going and I knew where I landed. And that's kind of the thing about, I guess, like being 28 at this point in time in my life that I'm realizing and that I'm learning to love is patience. And I think I'm slowly starting to kind of watch the flower unravel and get that message. And I hope you do too. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. More of my stuff on Patreon. If you want to go, there's a link in the description. I really hope you guys enjoyed. But yeah, thank you. This is a first for me, for actually like trying to pace myself and try to think of the shots as much as they were just jumping back and forth and writing. And I hope to do one of these every once in a while, if not once a week. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Follow me on Patreon. Free tiers if you don't want to support, but still want to follow. And hope you have a lovely one. All right. Take care, Space Cowboys. Catch you later.